Again, thank you for all that you have already done to help our community in so many ways. It's important that we recognize that organizations that serve a changing community must change with them. Most of you are already aware that Cooperative Christian Ministry does financial assistance for families in crisis. Last year, providing almost $250,000 in assistance to 2,800 families. In 2008, we're seeing that number increase by about 14%. And we're anticipating a winter where fuel bills will average about 20% higher than last year. Our 4 food pantries distributed over $1.4 million worth of groceries last year, the 4 pantries and our mobile food pantry. Amazingly, we only spent about $5,000 on groceries. The rest of it came from donations, from events as big as the county fair, and churches and families bringing groceries to our pantries. Our emergency night shelter, in partnership with the Salvation Army, provided shelter for over 300 men, women, and children. Yes, children in our night shelter. We went from 1 family room to 3 family rooms, and still every one of them is full every night. What you may not realize is some new things that Cooperative Christian Ministry has done in the past several months. We initiated a backpack program in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club at the Kannapolis Satellite after-school program. Every Friday afternoon, we send 41 young people home with a backpack full of food for supplemental food for their family for the weekend. They bring that backpack back empty on Monday, and we'll fill it up again for next Friday. It's a program that must expand. By the end of the year, we anticipate having a second program in Concord with a Hispanic after-school program. We opened the Opportunity House in partnership with Midway United Methodist Church in Kannapolis. It's located directly across the street from the Employment Security Commission. We've located ministries there to help many of our homeless in a daytime resource center, but also jobless in our community, those individuals who need help overcoming some of the barriers to employment. Whether it's help with an application or finding daycare or dealing with other issues that are keeping them from being successful in the job application and interview process. It's been an exciting ministry that opened in March and is experiencing over 170 visits per month. We also initiated the teaching housing program about this time last year with our very first house. The teaching housing program provides a home for 6 to 24 months for a homeless family. And during that period of time, it gives them the opportunity to work on some of those negative issues that have held them back or caused them to become homeless. Develop positive disciplines, eliminate some of the debt and credit issues, and gain stability. And during that period of time, they share in the cost of that home so that by the end of that 24-month period, they are experiencing the full weight of having a home on their own. And when they move out of that program, they receive all of the dollars that they paid to Cooperative Christian Ministry back. It's been escrowed for them, and they receive it back to help them with hookup fees and deposits and all of those initial costs into getting into their own home. We now have 3 families, 3 teaching houses, 1 in Kannapolis and 2 in Concord. We'll have our 4th home and our 4th family in by the end of this year. We've just taken on house number 5, and we're going to be asking the community for some help with that one because it's a big house that'll house a family of 5 or 6 or 7, which there's a tremendous need for. I want to share with you a letter that I received. I won't read the letter, it's too long, but a portion of the letter that I received about 2 weeks ago from a lady that moved into our 2nd teaching home. We'll call her Jay. And Jay says, I remember feeling angry and helpless that everything I was doing just wasn't getting me where I needed to be. After finishing high school, I joined the Navy and then went to college and graduated. She has a degree in biology with the intention of going on to medical school. I changed directions and got married first and had 2 beautiful, and she says, and very animated babies, now 5 and 7 years old. She goes on to say that in October of 2007, she and her husband separated. It was just 2 weeks later she lost her job of 3 years. In December, she was on her way out the door to take the baby to daycare and take her daughter to the doctor, and their vehicle was gone. She had been paying the insurance. Her husband was supposed to be paying the car payment. Now, without transportation, she began looking for a job. She found one paying $14 an hour for 30 hours a week. Within a few months, it went from 30 hours to 20 to 10, and then no job. She said she was in court almost every month, not being able to pay the rent until the very last moment, and she didn't have it for August and September. She had heard about the Opportunity House. Somebody had told her that they help people who are homeless. She said, I'm not homeless yet. But she says, I don't have the money to pay the rent. I don't know about this eviction process, but I know that sooner or later I'm going to get evicted. Her sister had a one-bedroom apartment. Her mother lived 2 hours away, and there were fewer jobs there than there were here. She went to the Opportunity House, and she says she met the staff from Cooperative Christian Ministry, and things began to turn around for me and my kids. I was already looking for work and had started riding the city bus to get where I needed to go. I took the kids to daycare, to the library, and to the grocery store. Anywhere I needed to go, I had to restrict to the bus routes. I gave Bruce my resume, the case manager, and he started calling people in places I'd never heard of. I started volunteering at the Opportunity House, she says. My thought process was that maybe if I kept busy until I got a job, that I'd be fine. The Opportunity House was on the bus route and directly across from the ESC. And then Bruce, the case manager, connected me with Community Link and the teaching housing program at Cooperative Christian Ministry. And she said, after that, everything went so fast I didn't know what to say except thank you. And oh my God, thank you. I was nervous about moving into a teaching house from a 3-bedroom to a smaller place and not having enough room for my kids to grow and learn. My concern is completely for my kids. They went above and beyond to make sure that I was able to tell my babies that they had a new bedroom and a new house. The children call it the Blue House. I call it a beginning miracle. Now there is this team of people who are unbiased in making sure that I reach my goal and not slip backwards, because they know that I refuse to go backwards again for the sake of my babies, for my sake and my babies. In Cooperative Christian Ministry, we've learned it's not the number of people we touch, it's the number of lives we change. Cooperative Christian Ministry is not a United Way agency. But every one of these agencies that's here today is working hard to be efficient and to be good stewards of your gifts. And we appreciate the opportunity to help you make a difference in our community. Thank you.